Hey everyone, it's Leonette here again with DIY Beauty on Purpose. I am so excited about this video because I love when I get to take a piece of furniture and transform it into a whole new piece with a new look and new purpose, and today is one of those days. I got this piece of furniture, which is a vintage sewing machine table, off of a friend, and now I get to give it a new look. So I am going to paint it, remove legs, all the works, guys. So stay tuned because you're not going to believe the transformation. All right, so first thing is first, I need to get things out that I do not need. I am going to remove the legs and the hardware. And let's see, I removed that little like cubby that you see at the bottom of the screen. It's like a little shelf inside of it. I'm going to remove that and just get it just free of anything that I don't need, because I'm going to turn this into a trunk / small coffee table. And as it progresses, you'll see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to remove all the hardware and get started. All right, guys. So I am also going to take all this hardware from the inside out. This is what basically held the sewing machine. And then this part here, this part flips up and down. I contemplated leaving some of the original, but I'm not sure because I'm not sure. We'll see. But I know for sure I'm going to take these hardware out, and then I've only taken one leg out. I have to take the rest out. So it's going to take me a little bit, but hey, that's the fun of it. Where are we at? I removed all the hardware where the legs were on and everything. Took me not too long, about a half hour. But I realized that these, not only were they holding the legs, but they were also holding the sides, this to this, so the sides to the top base. So now I'm gonna have to put them back on. But the good thing is now I can use screws that I can use my drill with, because you can see all the screws were like this, like flathead, and it was not working with my drill, so I had to do it manually. So now hopefully I get to do it with the power one, and it'll go a little quicker. But of course I don't want to replace the hardware, since this already, I know it fits, so I just have to put it back on and it'll work. But after that, we'll see. And then I decided to keep this. I know that I contemplated removing it, but I just think it adds to the character, and it just shows that what it was before, which is a sewing machine table. So, but I think what I will do is replace these, because these are very pointy, and if it's used for like storing blankets or anything like that, then, or toys, I don't want anybody getting scratched or anything. So I think I'm going to put something different here. So I'm going to replace those with maybe a plastic something or other. I have to figure that out, but we'll see what I do. So I decided to cut about 1.5 inches off of paint stirring sticks. And you know how it has like that little curved on each end? So that's the ends that I cut, and then I just curved the other end, and that's what I'm going to use to replace those hard metal thingies. So that is what the original looked like. So I'm just using it to place or mark where the hole is going to be, drill the hole, and then screw it into where it goes.
And now it is nice and safe and nothing is going to snag on it or won't scratch any arms or hands. So I feel much better with it. All right, so now that everything is pretty much taken off, except the little cubby here that you see at the bottom of the screen, I'm going to take that off here in a few. But other than that, everything's off that I need off, so I'm just going to clean the inside. It was actually pretty clean, but it just had normal grime that accumulates like dust and things like that. But so now I am measuring because I am going to build a bottom, because obviously the sewing machine did not need a bottom for it. It only had that one flimsy thing that you saw me remove in the beginning. So I am going to use 1x4s and 1x10s, actually just one 1x4 and then 2 pieces of 1x10s. I had all of these already at home from scrap pieces of other projects. And I'm using my Kreg jig to drill 3 holes on 2 of the boards so that I can join them together using the pocket hole screws, and that way it's nice and strong joints, and that's what we want. So I have used my Kreg jig many times before on many of my projects, but if you're not familiar what it is just a tool that helps you drill pocket holes into wood so that when you are joining pieces of wood together, you have strong joints. And you'll see what I'm talking about when I start putting them together. And you can also get, they are available in a tiny little one that you can get, or you can get this one. I actually have this one in my Amazon store, which is linked down below if you're interested in looking at it. So here's what it looks like. So I have my 2 1x10s and then my 1x4. And I'm just going to, as you can tell, the middle board does not have any holes because the 2 outside are going to drill into it. I have my clamp to make sure they're nice and even, and then the drill bit is the one that comes with the Kreg jig. And as you can see right there, nice and smooth, that joint sucks in and it just becomes a very strong joint. So once everything was nice and joined together, I placed everything on the floor and then I placed the bottom base on top of it. And I am pre-drilling holes all around the edge because I want to be able to screw in screws but not split my wood. So I'll do that all around and then join them, or not join them, and then secure it with screws, and that way it'll be on there secure. All right, I'm also going to be adding casters to the bottom of the trunk. So I've had these casters now seriously for about a year. I got them on Amazon and they were like, it came like, I want to say it was like 12 for, it was very inexpensive. And these are locking casters, but they're on the smaller side. So for this project, it's perfect. So I have 8 left. I'm going to use 4 of those 8. And I'm marked where the holes were. And then now I'm pre-drilling again the holes so that I can screw them in and the bottom part will be done. All right, so now I am going to get everything clean, or at least the outside surface of it nice and clean. I like to use crud cutter for my furniture. It just does such a good job taking old grime and grease out. But guys, it's not perfect. Sometimes you have to go on it and do it again. Sometimes you still get yellowing through. I mean, it's just the way it is when you're working with old furniture, but the crud cutter does work. So that's what I recommend. But if what you have works, soapy water sometimes is good. All right, so as you can see, I removed that little cubby. I keep calling it cubby, but it's like a little shelf that was on it. And now I am going to close in permanently that front piece because I don't need it. So I am going to put some glue and use my brad nailer to secure it in place. And then I filled in the hole with some wood filler because that's where the little the little handle that pulled out that door was in, and I did remove that. So I'll let the glue dry and get painting. I am using, surprisingly, I'm not using chalk paint, although I could have. I am using household regular paint. This is by Valspar in their signature line, and it's a white, and I believe it's, oh gosh, is it eggshell or satin? I can't read what it says up there, but it's one of those. I don't do glossy or semi-glossy for furniture, but if that's what you prefer, you can certainly use it. I ended up giving it 3 coats because it was pretty dark, and I wanted to prime it. I just didn't have my primer on hand, so I just ended up painting it. But I did end up doing 3 coats. And you're going to notice that I'm not going to paint the top because I will be planking it, and I'll show you that here in just a few. All right, so here we are with wood. This is a 1x4. Well, that tiny one is just a piece of, I think it's like a 1/2 by 1/2. I don't know where it came from. It was in the garage. But the rest are 1x4s, and it was a long piece, and I cut it into pieces that actually fit my trunk. Lengthwise was 22, or widthwise was 22 inches. Depthwise was, what was it? Like 18 and some. So I cut them down and I sanded them, and now I am going to stain them using a water-based Verathane weathered look stain. I hope I'm saying that right, but basically what it is very watery, is water-based. It does not have any smell to it, but what it does, it weathers the wood to have like a weathered look. And depending on the type of wood, you're going to get different results, but what it is going to give you like a grayish weathered look. And in this case, it didn't turn gray right away. I could have done more than 1 coat, but as you can tell, it's just adding a super cool rustic farmhouse kind of like tone to it. And I wanted 1 coat. I just loved the way it looked, so that's what I did. I've had it for a while, but I've only used it. This is my second project using it on, so I'm very happy I used it on this. So now putting everything on top of the trunk, I'm going to use wood glue to secure it, as well as brad nails. And I'm just going to put them side by side. And that little piece that you saw in the beginning, that was just because it had like a little excess little area in the back. So I had to cut that, and just to finish it off. And if you do not have power tools, guys, like wood like this, if you're wanting to plank anything, I've planked dressers and tables, I mean, you name it. You can go to the hardware store and they'll cut them for you. And there's a small fee after so many cuts, but it's really inexpensive, and you just have to give them the measurements and they'll cut them for you. And of course, you can use regular hammer and nails and it will work just fine. So keep that in mind. Don't let it intimidate you. I just love how quick and easy power tools make things, but by all means, you can do it without them. All right, so as you can tell, the trunk is now open. I've already planked it, but I wanted to paint that inside part of it. So while that dries, I did the first coat. You can tell it's kind of blotchy. I do want to do a stencil to the front. I just felt like it was missing something. Ideally, I would have loved to see like an applique. However, I didn't have one and I didn't want to go out and buy one, so a stencil it is. And I have used this one so many times. I used it in my oh my gosh, the like trunk that I redid several months ago, and I love the way it looks, and I just thought it would be super cute on this one as well. It almost fit perfectly. I didn't fit the 1831 in, but it was fine. It worked fine. So let me remind you, here it is, what it looked like before, and that's what it looks like now. Guys, look how cute. I mean, seriously, this can be such a statement in a little room. It would be super cute in a small apartment as a coffee table to store magazines, remote controls, blankets, whatever. It is beautiful. I love it. And just to let you know, I did seal everything with Verathane polyurethane just to make sure it's nice and durable. But this is it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it inspires you in some way to flip furniture or just make things your own. And if you're visiting for the first time, I hope you consider subscribing. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. Have a great day, and God bless you guys.